Hit BBC show Strictly Come Dancing has been thrown into chaos over a growing scandal relating to bullying and violence against its celebrity contestants. After two male professionals were dropped from the latest series due to complaints made against them, another two female dancers are facing damaging allegations. Paralympian Will Bailey claims that he was forced into making a jump that left him with injuries that still affect him to this day. This is a Paralympian, folks. His partner back in 2019, Jeanette Manrara, allegedly encouraged him to repeat the move, despite his team insisting that he wasn't physically capable of jumping. Elsewhere, former professional Strictly dancer Ola Jordan has been branded cold, rude and tough by her celebrity partner from 2014, Steve Backshall. He says her teaching style amounted to bullying, which led to him lodging a BBC complaint at the time. The scandal forced BBC Director General Tim Davie to issue an apology this morning, assuring reporters that this year's series would guarantee increased vigilance around the professional dancers who began rehearsals yesterday ahead of the series launch in September. Well, is Strictly one crisis away from the axe? Let's speak to former Strictly Professional Kristina Rihanoff, who danced on the show between 2008 and 2015. Christine, good to see you. Is the show in trouble?
Great to see you as well. Thank you for having me. We're yet to see what's going to happen this year. I think they have to put more measures in place to keep everybody safe, celebrities and, of course, professionals too. I spoke already about it, that we also suffer, like everyone else sometimes, feeling overwhelmed, overworked, nobody to talk to. So we've got to kind of look at it that it is a very difficult environment, very stressful. We all worked very hard on the show to deliver the best show we could deliver on Saturday night. But from the professional's point of view, I could never remember that I actually had somebody who could help me manage stress levels or my sort of mental health at that time, where the times were very rough. I was going 1 year on the show when my mom was having a cancer scare, and I still had to go, obviously, and perform. And I was battling inside between should I just leave and go and see her or stay on the show. So there are difficult times for every single person who is involved in the show, not just the celebrities, but pros as well. And I think having so-called well-being producers, that they've named them now, I think will be super helpful.
Did you see any abusive behaviour when you were working on the show?
We never in the same room with another pro training another celebrity. Just never. It never happened. To me, for 8 years on the show, I don't really think it would be happening now, because we actually always had cameras with us every single step of the way. I don't think it's exactly the same at the moment. I think it is an issue. And to me, even though they want to do chaperones now, which is great, I think, but I'd rather perhaps think about investing in more camera and more camera crews, so everything is filmed at all times. So then you have the proof right there in that video.
You worked with John Sargent, who is not exactly Rudolf Nureyev. What are the challenges when working with someone who's not used to dancing?
Oh, here he is. I have such fun memories of us working together, and I think he was my kind of lucky card, because I was just, finishing my competitive career, and I came on the show with all guns blazing, wanted to obviously go as far as I possibly could, maybe win, but obviously when I understand that I have to be clever here, I have to choreograph some fun choreography and just have a good time with that gentleman, and kind of understand the way he works and the way he would enjoy the show. I think it was a perfect pairing, although we were kind of misfits, in a weird way. We appealed to the crowd around us, and of course, why we have so much support. I think what really needs to be done is understanding, can the professionals they have now actually teach? Do they have a pedigree as teachers? Because the primary job is to teach novices, and it can be frustrating and it can be challenging. Of course it is, but this is your job as a professional, to be able to teach and deliver the information and make that person flourish and enjoy the show.
Are you saying that some of the professional dancers are unqualified to teach?
I don't know because I don't know the background. A lot of the dancers on the show, I simply don't know because they are quite young. So when I kind of left competitive world, they weren't on the scene yet. But in my generation of dancers, we all came, we were older. I think we were all professionals, competing professionally, and therefore teaching because we obviously had to finance our dancing like that. So
Kristina,
we had a...
Is it your impression that the BBC are cutting corners?
I just think it has to be a much thorough process and see in the vetting, do that this pros have actually, experience in teaching, because at the end of the day, if you've never taught an elderly gentleman or maybe, any adult who's never danced, you were always taught yourself quite full on and quite, harsh in our competitive world. You probably think that this is the method which is acceptable to anyone, but it's very different because when you train for professional competitive career and world championships, it's a very different story when you basically doing a light entertainment.
Briefly, Kristina, just got a couple of seconds left. These stars that go on the show, the actors, comedians, sports stars, they're very well paid. They don't have to do the show. Dancing is competitive. Who cares if they get a couple of bruises? Who cares if they break their big toe? Who cares if they're a bit stressed out? Don't do the show.
Well, I don't think you need to really break your toe or have bruises, or I had all of that, but not because of anything, but because that's what sometimes happens. You fell over or step over or whatever. It's hard work. And I think maybe BBC needs to kind of explain to the celebrities that actually it's a very intense show. It's no joke. But by the BBC kind of contract, they only have to do 12 hours a week. That's a minimum. But you can't do anything in those 12 hours. It's just simply not enough. And it's a very grueling work schedule, and it's a lot of goes into it. So I think the celebrities just needs to be prepared and maybe know a little bit more in depth what it really requires to be on the show like that.
Kristina, always a treat to have you on the show. At some point, you can show me the foxtrots. My thanks to Kristina Rihanoff. Listen, that's not going to happen. I've got about as much rhythm as Stonehenge. We've heard from the BBC, and they've said we will not be commenting on individuals or engaging in speculation. However, as we've said previously, we will always listen if people want to make us aware of something or raise it with us directly. And we have appropriate procedures and processes in place to manage this.